by paint. It takes 10 seconds.
Yeah, no, I know, but
It's just an aggravation. I know.
there's a 4-game night slate tonight. That's cool.
Yeah. All right, tweet is out. Retweet is out. We are live. What's going on, everybody? It is Monday, February 11th. Coming off of just a downright ugly Sunday slate. We've got a really big one here. 9-gamer today. Gearing up for All-Star breaks. We've got 4 days this week, and then we're taking a week off. Just getting our wits about us for the home stretch and then the build up to baseball. Adam, how was your weekend?
It was fine. Basketball was pretty frustrating, but that's how it goes. How was yours?
I can't complain. You know, I can complain a little bit, but no one would listen. No one would care. So I'll take it. It was a perfectly acceptable weekend. All right. Housekeeping stuff. NBA Strategy is the promo code. 50% off your first month with us if you sign up for a monthly package. The code will not work if you try to sign up for an annual. Not trying to steer you away from those annual subscriptions. Those are awesome. But the code won't work for it. It's only going to work for a monthly subscription. So if you're looking to try us out, NBA Strategy is the promo code. We are brought to you by Thrive Fantasy. If you go to bit.ly/Awesemo, didn't do it. bit.ly/Awesemo. And you get $10 on your first $10 deposit, 20 on 100, and 50 on 200. It is a new DFS site that focuses on player props. You get a list of 20. You have to pick your favorite 10, whether people are going to go over points, rebounds, assists, a combination of those. And you get a certain amount of points if you're correct. At the end of the show, Adam and I will pick our favorite 5. And then starting after the All-Star break, he and I are going to go head-to-head, closing out the NBA season. And thanks to the people at Thrive, the winner's going to get a Thrive t-shirt. So it's kind of exciting. Whew, we got a lot of games to talk about. I've gone through just about every team now and tried to redo all of the rotations now that we got new people everywhere. Some of these teams, it's just really not fun to do.
That is very, very true.
Like, I don't know what the Blazers are doing right now, but that's just one that I'm like, okay, so Al-Farouq Aminu just plays like 22 minutes now. Okay.
Yeah, no, I mean, I sent you my crunch on yesterday's slate with the Blazers on it where, I mean, obviously it was a short slate, so it wouldn't have happened on a bigger slate, but it was like I literally had, like 30% Layman, 30% Aminu, 20% Hood, 20% Turner, and then just grouped it so that none of them were in the same lineups and was like, I'll have 20 to 30% good lineups here.
Yep. It's tricky. They're just all over the place. I don't know if that's if there's a reason that Aminu is getting this little amount of run or if they're just like really the biggest Jake Layman fans in the world, but
they also, well, yesterday they played Dallas. I don't remember who they played the day before, but it could end up just being like a defensive thing where some games Aminu's going to get more run because of the opposing 4.
I would have assumed that yesterday was that day, though.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, is Aminu not like tailor-made for Luka?
Nobody's tailor-made for Luka. He's too damn good. There's no point.
I don't disagree. It's so weird to me, watching that game a little bit yesterday. I feel like it's really, when you're watching the game, it's really obvious that he does this herky-jerky thing. He's going to work to that step back, and people bite on it so bad, and all of a sudden, he's just got a mile of distance in between him and whoever's on him. I don't know how he does it, but it's like sorcery.
I just pulled up Popcorn Machine for that game. Luka scored 13 points in the fourth quarter. Do you want to guess what Blazer did not step on the floor in the fourth quarter?
I wanted to have a really good answer there. That was a joke, but I couldn't think of anything. I just thought of Cliff Robinson. Yeah,
Scal was here.
That would have been good. That would have been good. I should go to that box score and see how bad Luka, like, who was guarding him in the possessions and stuff. But yeah, no Aminu for any of that.
No Aminu for that fourth quarter. Aminu subbed out at the 3:43 mark in the third. Doncic subbed in at the 3:43 mark in the third and played the entire rest of the game, scoring 15 points.
Wow. That's not the right website. I want to see who was on him for most of the possessions. I should be able to get there. Dallas.
It was not Mo Harkless or Aminu, I can tell you that.
All right. Defense. No, matchups. Offensive player. Luka Doncic. 32 possessions with Harkless. And if you want to know why someone gets their ass handed to them, 28 possessions from Rodney Hood.
Yeah, that's my guess. That's my guess for who it was in the fourth quarter too, because Layman played that entire stretch where Luka went nuts, and then Hood played all but like 3 minutes of it.
No, it was all on Harkless. Well, I mean, like we're at the perils of however this gets picked, but Luka was 1 for 8 on Hood.
Oh wow. Well, Harkless only played less than 4 minutes in that stretch where Luka went nuts.
Okay. Yeah, so Luka, you got a bucket on CJ McCollum, a bucket on Curry, a bucket on Lillard. So, bucketing here could be a little bit interesting. When Hood was the primary defender, which was 37% of the time, or I guess primary defender, 28 possessions. The Blazers only scored 23 points, but they scored 38 on the 32 possessions that Luka was on, or had Harkless on him.
That's interesting.
What website is that from the YouTube chat? This would be NBA.com. A new one that's out there.
Easily.
You can't see my URL bar anymore. I forget that I don't have the full screen.
Easily the most useful out of the like generic NBA, MLB, NFL.com
Oh my
sites.
God, yeah. The NBA.com and it used to be mildly better, but still just a wealth of data here.
Yeah.
Rodney Hood for 28 possessions. Okay. I'm not even sure how we get to that point.
That doesn't seem like it was the intended goal of acquiring Rodney Hood, was to be your defensive stopper.
Yeah, for one of the most dynamic offensive players in the league that's 19 years old. Oh God. All right. Terry Stotts, man. Take a different look at that one. Okay. One last thing to plug before we get started. On February 13th, that is our 1-year anniversary. And to celebrate, we are going to be giving away a premium all access subscription, annual. You get a full year for free. So if you can like this video and then drop a comment. Oop, this is getting cut off. I'm going to have to change the font size. Drop a comment in after this video is over. You can't do it into the chat. The comment section does not show up until the video is over. But like the video, drop a comment in, and you will get a chance to win that premium all-access subscription. So do that. I will work on this scrolling thing not cutting itself off once I throw to Adam for one of these games. You ready to start?
Yep.
Alrighty, here we go. The doozy. The Cleveland Cavaliers hosting the New York Knicks. 106.25 implied total for the Cavs, 104.75 for the Knicks. I think we didn't have a couple lines here. Let's see if those lines are out now. I think I had the Knicks game though. I think it was the final 4. Yeah, we're slowly piecemealing those other games. We're getting to that part of the season where like lines don't come out early because who knows what teams are doing. All right. Let's start here. How many minutes do you think Kevin Love plays today? Do you think it's more than 6?
Not by a lot, but yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see that one coming. Let's be honest here.
Didn't he get hurt again?
No, I think they just played him for like one rotation and took him out.
I thought he'd gotten hurt.
I don't think so. He might have. If he did, that's not something that I saw. But either way, I've got him in for 12 minutes. I don't know. I don't know what else to do here.
Yeah, it says it was just a precaution.
Yeah, it's like don't play him, clearly. Although now that I say that, I'm sure he'll play 26 minutes.
Right.
I like a lot of this, and I hate myself for it. Larry Nance, 7,100 on FanDuel, 5,900 on DraftKings. I'm going to get sucked into that. I'm going to get sucked into Jordan Clarkson at 5,200. I'm going to get sucked into Colin Sexton. I'm going to get sucked into flat minimum Marquise Chris. Talk to me about these Cavs.
Yeah, that was a hell of a minutes limit on Marquise Chris last game.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, so I mean, all right. So I'll just start with like the one concern and something to keep an eye on is this team is getting healthier,
Yeah.
and you're going to see obviously minutes trending up for guys, like Love, like Knight. That it's not that they become plays, but the players outside of Larry Nance, the players on the Cavs are just so damn bad that you need them to get like every single minute that they can. So as soon as you start seeing Knight get like 4 more minutes at the expense of Sexton, it makes a huge difference in him. And it's that way, for a lot of guys. So just keep that in mind that as these guys get healthier, the rotation is going to get messier and it's going to become less stable. But Larry Nance, I absolutely love. I'm right there with you. He's starting at center now. For the season, he's averaged about 1.16 fantasy points per minute when he plays center. It's just a much better fit for him as far as what he does. Offensive rebounding, getting putbacks, his assist percentage goes up. Everything just trends up for Larry Nance when he starts at center, and his price tag still really isn't moving. He played almost 34 minutes against the Wizards, lost the last few minutes of the game because it was a blowout. Played 38.7 minutes against the Pacers, just playing monster minutes in a really, really productive situation. So I have no reason not to like him. Here against the Knicks, I think that Sexton is still fine. He's been playing really well. He only played 30 minutes last game, which is certainly concerning. You saw Brandon Knight play 12. Delvedova, again on a minutes limit, played 23. So the fact he only played 30 minutes is concerning, but I think he's still reasonable. I would assume the Waba gets back to his like 28 minutes here, and then Clarkson's fine, but Nance is easily my favorite guy here.
Okay. Yeah, he grades out massively higher than everyone else for me. 36% ownership on DK, though, so not as if I'm going to be over that number on a day like today.
It's about time. I think I've had him at like 55 each of the last 2 games.
Yeah. I'm nervous. Look, Marquise Chris right now is projecting for 15% ownership. I'm nervous to see what I get. I have him in for 22 minutes. Is that crazy? Okay.
I mean, obviously, he's impacted greatly by Kevin Love.
Yes, he is. Like I said, I have Love in for 12. It doesn't strike me as the situation where Love is going to seriously play 20-plus minutes here, so I hope that it doesn't matter, at least for today. Oh, God. Colin Sexton, 4,900, only 7% expected ownership. I think that I'll be over that number. I have him in for 32 minutes right now, 12 for Brandon Knight.
Yeah, that seems reasonable.
Yeah, he's probably a little underpriced then. I mean, it's a date with the Knicks.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure why the Cavs are still so cheap, at least on DraftKings.
Right. Kind of weird. Anybody else you want to touch on from Cleveland?
Nope, I would say Nance is my favorite, then Clarkson and Sexton, and then you can play around with trash like Nwaba and Chris if you desire.
Do you know how well Deng Adele has been playing?
What do you define well?
Over the last 30 days, so basically like every minute he's gotten. 0.37 FanDuel points per minute.
That's amazing. I did see people in our Slack chat recommending him the other day. That was good.
Yeah.
Shout out to those guys.
Yeah, congrats. You can have it. Now, to be fair, wait, did Cleveland play yesterday?
No.
Okay, never mind then. Basketball Reference didn't have the updated box scores from yesterday, so I didn't add in yesterday's data yet. So I didn't know if it got up a bit. But
in case you went for like 2 fantasy points per minute and got up to 0.55.
Right. So no, it's a real 0.37. Congratulations. You are probably the worst guy in the league.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen per minute production that low.
Dude, Dellavedova is at 0.66. I mean, that's like
that's like the standard. If you're on the floor, you produce at least 0.6 fantasy points per minute.
Yeah, and he's doing half of that. Hoy. Good luck. For a second, I thought his price was 7,300 on DK, but my eye went to Kevin Love. All right,
the entire team's $1,000 too cheap, and then Deng Adele's 7,300.
Yeah. Oh my God. You could probably buy him for the week at 7,300 if you wanted to. Like, you could use him as much as you want. You got to pay $7,300 now. And it's like, nah, I'm just going to pass.
That would end up being a pretty interesting strategy game, like the time that FanDuel made someone $0 or $3 or whatever it was.
Yeah. Yeah, like if he were, because he's at 3K right now and unplayable. How low would it have to go before you were like, okay, I have like 20% dang Adele?
It would still be slate dependent. Like if he was 0, there's still opportunity cost.
Yeah. Yeah, if no value opens up, he looks different. But if a couple guys that are solid open up in like the $3,500 to $4,500 range,
Right.
you probably play very little. God, that'd be nuts. All right, let's
Man,
go.
how many points is he about to score tonight?
Yeah, for real. He can have it. I don't mind being wrong there because the 0.4% of people that are in my tournaments that have him, it's not going to affect me.
I don't think the rest of their lineups look very good.
No, they're probably placeholders.
Yeah.
Yeah. They added those people in inverse of salary like I do every morning. All right, Knicks. Dennis Smith, 6,900 on FanDuel, 6,400 on DK. He's getting a lot of traction, 38% ownership on FanDuel. That feels high to me, especially on this slate, but I understand it. He should be owned. It's a good spot. I don't have really anything else to say.
Absolutely love him still.
Yeah.
He only played 30 minutes last game, but again, we saw a shortened rotation to start the third quarter. The Knicks came out and Toronto went on a quick 9-0 run. Dennis Smith Jr. and DeAndre Jordan subbed out real quick after 3 minutes and 37 seconds. So he lost a couple of minutes there, probably. I still think you can project him around 34 minutes. He will go over that number sometimes. He'll come in under it other times. But you're getting a ton of usage. He's up around 28 to 30% since joining the Knicks. A ton of potential assists, a ton of rebound chances. There's really just no reason for me not to like Dennis Smith Jr. I assume he'll be one of my highest owned guys again today in a great spot against Cleveland.
Yep, totally agree. DeAndre Jordan, 6,600 on FanDuel, 58 on DK, 20 on Yahoo. I don't have a huge issue having him. It's just the same kind of thing we talk about every other time. There's 15 centers a day that look fantastic. And, when you're the 10th best option, but still grayed out okay, it's really hard to get any sort of volume. He's at 1% expected ownership on FanDuel and DK. I don't know. If I have 3 or 4, I'm okay with it. He's just a hard guy to prioritize now, especially if he's not going to get 30-plus minutes.
One thing I will say is that I'm still projecting him for 29 or 30 minutes.
Okay.
I don't buy these recent minute totals entirely because one of them he fouled out 4 minutes before the game ended. One of them was that first game where we saw him and Dennis Smith Jr. play that really, really short stint in I think it was the first quarter.
Yeah.
Last game he was the same as Dennis Smith, where he played 26 minutes total, but he played 3 minutes to start the second quarter or the third quarter. Every game, there's just been one little thing that's taken 3 or 4 minutes from Jordan, and he just keeps ending up at 26 or 27 minutes. So I'm still not convinced that in a perfect world that's where they're actually trying to cap him at.
Yeah, I have him at 28 right now. I could easily go to 30, but if no one's getting to him, and I think that he's at a 10% guy now, I'm already where I need to be. I don't need to run this crunch with 2 extra minutes and find out that I get 37% DeAndre Jordan.
He's going to eat in this spot, though.
He should. He should. I mean, God, anybody with a pulse should eat in this spot.
Yeah.
Kevin Knox, 4,600 on FanDuel, 5K on DK. We're projecting him for 40% ownership on FanDuel. I don't know what to do with this dude because he is atrocious on a per minute basis, and I just naturally project him higher because of regression to the mean. It's kind of weird. He just plays too many minutes that I think that he ends up getting skewed. Do you like Knox today?
He's also shooting a ton. I don't know what to. I mean, 21 shots last game, 8, 12, 18, 21, 16, 16. Plays huge minutes. He's playing the Cavs. He just sucks. I don't know what it makes me uncomfortable when I don't have a lot of him. It makes me uncomfortable when I do have a lot of him. At 5K and 4,900, I think I'll probably end up just kind of biting the bullet. But I don't know, even if I project him for a 24% usage rate and 36 minutes on DraftKings, I get him as a good but completely mediocre play. Just an average, slightly above average guy.
What does he have to do to really hurt you? I guess circling
Score.
back, yeah, play 40 minutes and go for 50 fantasy points like he did here
shoot
against
well.
Charlotte. 10 of 25 from the field.
Yeah.
Man. I'm not comfortable with it, but I'm obviously going to have more than some. I hope that there's just like when all is said and done, when we look through this, I hope there's just a couple guys in like the $4,500 to $5,500 range that I can naturally just siphon off ownership to.
Yeah, exactly. He's kind of like the perfect guy where just from a broader sense, when he's really highly owned, you don't. If you're underweight when he's really highly owned every single day for the entire season, you come out ahead. If you're overweight when he's really low owned every single day for the entire season, you come out ahead. Just because you can't predict. All you can really predict going into a game is, to an extent, efficiency based on matchup and previous efficiency for the player. But for the most part, it's just minutes and volume, and you can't really project how often the ball is going in. So with a guy like him that's really scoring dependent and getting the opportunities, just doing the opposite of the field is really the easiest way to go in a quick general sense.
For sure. Hazonia? Because apparently, I don't know what they're doing with Noah Vonleh now. He doesn't seem to be the priority that he was a week ago.
Yeah, I feel like they could have maybe traded Vonleh for something if they were going to just not play him after the deadline.
Seriously, I mean, the list of playoff teams that would want Noah Vonleh has to be all of them. I mean,
yeah,
you just figure it out. Like, every single playoff team,
everything well,
right? With no needs whatsoever from himself. 16% usage, so you can very easily fit him into every single team. It's craziness.
Yeah, if you need a facilitator, he can do it. If you need a rebounder, he can do it. If you need a defender, he can do it. If you need someone to not take the ball from your superstars, he does it.
Yeah, and yet he's going to languish on the Knicks for the rest of the year, playing less minutes than Mario Hazonia.
But yeah, so anyway, I think Hazonia at 4K is fine.
Yeah.
I'll have him at like 25 minutes.
I've got him in. Okay, so I've got him in for 26. You've got him in for 25?
I've started using odd numbers now. I've become very
since Friday?
Yeah, since Friday. I was waiting for someone to question my minutes projections on Saturday because I kept using odd numbers.
Oh, man.
It's crazy how much more accurate I feel like it gets me.
Do you want any... I mean, I have Vonleh in for 22 minutes. That's pretty impossible.
Yeah, I'm at 24, but I'm still not really getting there.
I don't know if... I didn't see this, but I'll have to double check. Shout out to 1-800-EDDIE. Might have popped 100K yesterday.
He did.
Oh, shout out to 1-800-EDDIE. I'll congratulate you in person later today. Well, not in person, but vocally while we're on a call together. Good for him.
He won the main slate like $15 on DK yesterday.
Boom. Rake it in. For those that don't know, 1-800-EDDIE is the guy who runs all the tech behind Osimo. Anybody else from the Knicks? Trier?
24. If you want 24 minutes from Trier, then sure.
3,600 on FanDuel. I like as if you're trying to punt. That's like those are the types of guys that you want to try to have a lot of. A guy that can be okay if something breaks right, but ultimately you're using him for the salary savings everywhere else.
Right. Like his price tag is at least finally dropped, so it gives you upside because he is a guy that can go out there and score in bunches at times.
Yeah, your dream scenario there is to use him as the punt to have extra salary elsewhere with the hope that maybe you don't have to and he scores 35 fantasy points.
I would say you want to make sure that you have rules set to not play him with Damian Dotson.
Yeah.
You probably you don't want to play him with Dotson or like Kadeem Allen, who played 28 minutes for God knows what reason last game. Cheap enough, those would probably be the only two rules that I set.
Okay. Let's get out of this game. The Detroit Pistons hosting your Washington Wizards, the new look Wizards. Are you excited about this?
I love this team.
Okay, I figured as much.
Like, I don't mean like I love them like, oh, the Wizards are about to make a huge run in the playoffs or something. Just like I love watching them. I've always loved Bobby Portis. I love what Jabari Parker's doing in this role with the Wizards. It's just so much fun to watch. And I was never a big Otto Porter fan. In one, just because I hated the contract, and two, I just never really thought he was that good. But these two are just so exciting to watch.
I'm excited about it too. I root for the Wizards. I don't know why. I like a lot of the dudes. I mean, they've got so many different versions of LeBron James that it's hard to not cheer for that team.
Right. I mean, it's got to be like the most underperforming team in history when you have Jeff Green and Bobby Portis on the same team. I guess they are 2-0 since getting Portis.
All right. 4-point favorites for the Pistons. Really nice pace up spot here. Drummond and Blake will start there. These dudes' prices just bounce everywhere. Drummond is now 10-6 on FanDuel, 9K for Blake, and then on DK, Drummond 8,900, Blake also 9K again, 41 and 40 on Yahoo. I mean, Blake is projected for 32% ownership on FanDuel. I get that. Very low ownership to Drummond on FanDuel because of that price tag. I like him at that price. As weird as it sounds, it's Washington. This is a great spot for him. 8,900 on DK though, 13% ownership. Sign me up for some Drummond.
Yeah, I like both of these guys a lot. It's just such a good spot against Washington. Adding Portis helps their rebounding some, but it's more that it helps the rebounding because it was so bad before. I don't think Portis is going to be out there taking too many boards from Andre Drummond, and Jabari Parker isn't either. So, I still think it's just the absolute dream spot for Andre Drummond. The Blake is just too cheap. The rebounding obviously is down recently, but you're still getting, a ton of assists. You're still getting plenty of usage. The Wizards are not going to improve defensively from their trade. So I love both these guys.
Ooh, that text is moving way too fast now. Nobody's going to be able to read that shit. There we go. Yeah, I love both of these guys as well. Who slows down? Is this a Jan Mahinmi game?
That's what I'm concerned about.
I don't have him in now, and Jeff Green is questionable.
Actually, Jeff Green, it really helps things a lot because I don't think he's going to play just because he didn't come back last game, and he said after the game that something that had been bothering him for a while, and he was just playing through it. So I'm guessing he gets the night off. But if he does, it really helps out as far as projecting the rotation goes because you can give, obviously, Jabari a bunch of his minutes. Portis can keep his minutes, and then you can just throw him into the rotation.
Yeah. Well, keep a close eye on that. I mean, I have Jeff Green in right now because it seems weird to guess about something at 940. But if he's out, I assume a large chunk of minutes go to Jan Mahinmi.
Yeah.
And
if he's in, it becomes an absolute mess.
Yes. So I still have... Well, let's start for the rest of the Pistons side. Do you have Wayne Ellington in?
Yes.
Okay. How many minutes?
25.
What the fuck, man? I've got 26. What has happened? We created a bit on Friday, and it's already been flipped on its face. Every one of the stupid Pistons that I have in right now, every single one of the Wizards are all even numbers. All of them. 22 separate people, all even numbers. Every time I ask you minutes now, it's odd. People are going to think Friday was just nonsense. Okay, so I've got him in for 26, but either way, I'm going to have a little bit of Wayne Ellington here.
Yeah, 4K is pretty gross.
It doesn't make me super happy, but up-tempo game, coming into a new team, maybe they try to get him a couple extra looks or something. I don't mind using him as a punt. If anybody else is garnering any sort of major ownership, I'm happy to go to him. I'm not going to be excited about it, let's be clear, but I'll take a shot. So I got Reggie Jackson in for 30. I've got Kennard in for 26. And then it's just the sea of dudes. Ish, Bruce Brown, Zaza, Galloway, McCurr, Kyrie Thomas, Glenn Robinson. Do any of those guys stand out as guys that you want to play more?
Oh, I forgot they had him. I was like, who the hell is McCurr? I was thinking like McKerr.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Thon Maker, if that helps everybody.
Yeah.
It's the one I actually know how to say correctly.
Yeah, no. Once you said it in English, I got it.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I was picturing like a mini Steve Kerr running around. No, not really.
Like I gave
It
all 12 of those guys some sort of minutes. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, I mean it's going to be a mess, and it's really been a mess all season long for the Pistons wings. Like even before acquiring Ellington and stuff, like we were seeing Kennard play minutes, and then Brown play minutes, and then Galloway play minutes. It's been a mess. So I'm really not interested in the Pistons on the slate outside of Blake and Drummond.
Would you rather play Wayne Ellington or Luke Kennard?
Wayne Ellington
Okay.
with exactly as much confidence as I just said it with.
Yeah, like I expect to have him if I played a 20 max, I'd expect to have him once. Nothing crazy. No one's gonna own him. But it's a it's a major up tempo game for the Pistons.
Yeah, and even Washington had kind of improved defensively, but even during that improvement, their 3-point defense was still atrocious.
Yeah. Got to take some sort of flyers before news comes out. Let's go to the Wizards side. Beal, 9,600 on FanDuel, 8,800 on DK, $40 on Yahoo. Not getting a ton here. And maybe just because I have him like wildly underprojected. I don't know. What do you think of Beal?
I mean, I love the minutes. It's just always kind of tough to get to him because the position's normally really deep. It's not the most appealing matchup in a pace down game against Detroit. You also have an abundance of other guys on the Wizards that I think are good plays. So from that standpoint, it gets tough. So I don't have a problem with Beal. Like I think he's a perfectly fine play, but I would say he's probably not going to come in as like a huge priority for me.
We might catch a little shit. We didn't mention Reggie Jackson at 5,600. He's 18% expected ownership.
He's whatever to me.
Yeah, I don't really want him.
I put him behind Griffin and Drummond. I put him ahead of every other player on the team.
I'd rather have Jabari at the exact same price. And it's not even remotely close. And that's with Jeff Green in.
Yeah, if Green's in, then I would rather have Jackson.
Jabari projecting 2% ownership. Reggie Jackson 18.
Yeah, but Reggie Jackson playing like 12 minutes more.
You think so?
Or 10.
How many minutes do you think Jabari plays?
24.
And you think Reggie Jackson plays 34?
In that rate, probably like 32 to 34.
Okay. Let's have a bigger discussion then. Yeah, maybe I'm just low on Reggie Jackson. I mean, the 2 games, 2 games with Ish Smith back, 27 and 22.
But he didn't play. Oh wait, no, he did. He lost like 3 minutes to the blowout. So yeah, maybe 30 is better for Jackson.
Okay, that's where I had him here. I didn't know how to look. There are certainly minutes to give him more. There is a sea of dudes on Detroit that don't have to see the court. I think I have Parker a little high for right now with Green in, and then let me walk that back a little bit. But I'm okay with the 30 on Reggie. Okay. Yeah, I'm with you then. As soon as Jeff Green gets ruled out, though, it's Parker by a mile over Reggie Jackson.
Yeah. Okay. As soon as Green gets ruled out, Parker becomes like probably the most popular play on the slate and still a really good play.
I mean, he's already the most popular play on the slate on FanDuel, where he is still just 3,900.
That's insane.
74% ownership on FanDuel. I mean, you can make a case that it should be 100.
I was going to say, so there's free rake today?
Yeah. I mean, the only thing that changes you from wanting to have him in every single lineup would be if other guys at under 4K grade out okay, and you can just punt somewhere else to get different construction.
Right.
But yeah, for right now, that's the spot. Portis, 6,400 FanDuel, 63 on DK, 23 on Yahoo. Getting a lot of love on FanDuel. again, if Jeff Green is out, I like Portis more. Just a couple, solidifies those minutes. I have him in for 28 right now. Where are you landing on Portis?
Yeah, 28. If Green's out, I would bump it to like 30.
Okay. Same.
This is it's kind of a scary spot for me. Like I love Portis, but assuming he's going to be popular because people are onto the fact that he's getting run now, and he's obviously really, really good from a fantasy standpoint. This is kind of just a terrifying spot going against the Blake Griffin and Andre Drummond front court for him.
It really is. I didn't even think about it like that when I was doing like my first lap through here, but yeah. I'm going to have some Satoransky like I do every other day at 5,900 too, now that I look at it.
You said you do or do not?
I do.
Oh, yes, so
I hate it. I'm
not
so
as
sick
much
of
as I
rostering
have.
him.
In general, I don't like this team as much as I have lately. Probably because they're not playing the Bulls or the Cavs.
Yeah, that's true. Any Ariza?
If I get there, that's fine. Like, he still plays huge minutes.
Yeah.
But like right now, the only guy that's grading out as great for me is Jabari if Green is out.
Yeah, I agree.
And my point on Portis, because I just want to go back to it because I know I definitely talk a lot about not really caring about individual matchups, and I don't like. I'm not saying I'm projecting Portis for less just because I'm like scared of Drummond and Blake. My point is that if he's going to be really highly owned, the likelihood of this being a spot where he busts is higher when you have a monstrously big center and Drummond grabbing rebounds from him, and you have him dealing with Blake Griffin. And there's just so many things that can go wrong that it's something I want to keep in mind when I'm looking at someone who is projected to be really popular and is volatile and really can go either way.
There we go. Updating all of my lines right now, so make sure I have the right information in here now that everything is out. We miss anybody for Washington?
I don't think so.
Okay. You're not on Jordan McRae today?
No. He did make he did get minutes last game.
How many?
Like not a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, he played 9 minutes. He subbed in at the 1 minute and 38-second mark of the third quarter, played till the 6:31 mark, and then picked up 2 minutes and 7 seconds of garbage time.
Fair enough.
He helped once again though. He came in and they went on a 12-2 run.
Lightning rod.
He had nothing to do with it this time, but he was on the floor.
Alrighty, moving on. The Indiana Pacers hosting the Charlotte Hornets. Pacers 111.25 implied total. Hornets 106.25. So 5-point favorites. I just realized that I did not project Wes Matthews in for the Pacers. Did you?
No.
Probably need to, right?
I don't know. Is he playing today?
I would imagine. I have minutes going to Aaron Holiday and Edmund Sumner that can easily just be reappropriated, I think.
Yeah, like Corey Joseph should become the backup point guard again.
Yep. So let's start with Indiana. Thad Young, 7,200 on FanDuel, 6,200 on DK, 23 on Yahoo. This guy continues to just grade out really well for me. Plays huge minutes. 6,200 looks pretty nice. What do you like here with Thad Young?
Yeah, I mean he's been good without Oladipo on the floor this year. He's almost a fantasy point per minute guy. The assist percentage jumps. Obviously, the rebounds are there. The usage jumps a little bit, and it's a somewhat appealing matchup against Charlotte. It's just a really slow paced game is the problem, but defensively, it's a nice spot for him. So I think Thad's fine.
Okay. And is he really not projected? Wes Matthews here?
Is he in the player pool yet?
I don't know. No, not on DK.
No, it makes my life easier.
He is on FanDuel, though. On Yahoo? He is on Yahoo, so he's just not on the DraftKings player pool.
That's so weird. Normally, they're like the first ones to get guys in. and
Yeah.
FanDuel takes a month.
Not there. Weird. But I assume that he plays then.
And they have already guaranteed that he starts.
Yeah. Yes, they have. Let's this. I just want to get him in there. Otherwise, we're looking at something for reasons that aren't useful. So 24 minutes there. Oh, God, he probably plays even more than that, huh?
Yeah, I would put him at like 30.
So who takes the haircut? What would you have?
Holiday goes to like 0.
I took every minute from him. I took every minute from Sumner.
Okay, Evans gets like 16.
I have him at 18, but I could easily take 2.
Joseph gets like 24. 26.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Because so I assume Collison plays like 32. Joseph gets 16 the backup point, and then you can throw like 8 to 10 to him at the 2.
I got 30 for Collison at point guard, 18 for Joseph with 8 at shooting guard, which allows me to give 30 minutes total to Wes Matthews.
Right.
Giving.
Also you can kick TJ Leaf out of the rotation and slide guys down a spot.
Already did.
Okay.
So I think we're good there. Yeah, not on the DK player pool. Craziness. Look, I'm gonna have some Thad. Miles Turner, 8K on FanDuel, 6,600 on DK, 27 on Yahoo. What do you think here?
Yes, please. Dealing with an injury, said he's still sore, said he thinks he can play through it, but been really good, like 1.15 fantasy points per minute without Oladipo on the floor this year. Not as good a matchup as it was when Zeller was out, but still not really a scary matchup. And again, you get plenty of block opportunities here against a driving Kemba Walker and the Charlotte team. So I still really like Miles Turner.
I don't get much. How many minutes do you have him for? 30,
32.
I'm guessing?
32.
Jesus. Okay, so that's where we differ. I have him at 28.
Yeah, they've been in a ton of blowouts lately.
Yeah, I
never. And he got hurt last game.
22, 27, 22, 32, 31, 35, 27, 26, 28. This guy is just plays really odd minutes.
Yeah.
I've had him in for 30 for the longest time, and I finally dropped that down by 2.
So last game he played.
I don't know who to take 2 minutes from now.
He played God, I'm bad at math. 15 minutes and 20 seconds in the first half. Got injured immediately in 2 minutes into the third quarter. Didn't play at all in the fourth. Ended at 22 minutes in a blowout.
How many minutes do you have Sabonis playing?
I always go 24 on Sabonis.
Yeah, that's what I have too. I don't know. What do you have in for Bojan?
Normally go 34 there.
That's what I have too. I don't know who to take minutes from to get Turner to 30. I guess I could just take him from McBuckets.
Yeah, I mean that's where I take minutes from whenever in doubt.
Yeah.
If he doesn't play, it's even easier, obviously.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. All right, there we go. Yeah, I'll have more than the 2 or 3% owned of Turner here.
I might go 34 on Turner.
What'd you go?
I might go 31 on Turner.
Look at you.
Well, because 30 gives me I'm assuming a good amount. 32 probably once again makes him one of my highest owned players, which has been perfectly fine with me lately, even though it keeps not working out for reasons other than his production. But 31 probably is a nice balance.
Yeah, I went 30. I get him set up to be more 3 or 4 times the field at 3%, and I will take that all day.
Yeah, I mean, even if I give him 30 minutes, I still get 37.5 point projection.
Okay. Collison, 20% expected ownership on DK right now, 26 on FanDuel. I'm going to go a different direction.
Yeah, that seems high. Yeah. It's not that I think he's a bad player or anything like that, but once you get guys into the 6K range, it's normally really easy to find pivots that are low owned. I think it's the easiest spot to find tournament pivots because there's just an abundance of guys. It's easy to get to that price range. You can go, $500 in either direction, and it doesn't drastically change your roster construction. And it's an awkward price range where to really, especially on bigger slates, to really be a play that you need in tournaments, you need like 40 plus. And so it's not like it's a score that's like really easy to hit. So it's my favorite range to pivot in, and I think that Collison's the exact kind of guy that I do it on if he's going to be high owned.
Yeah, 15% on Sabonis too.
I mean, I think the price tag on him is too cheap. Like if I project him for 24 minutes, I still get him at like 30 plus points. Obviously, just don't play him with Turner.
How are you getting him there? What do you project him for on DraftKings?
31.
Okay, like that grades out as shit to me. And we have the exact same projection. I have him at 30.9. He's been at 1.12 fantasy points per minute over the last 30 days. I'm projecting him at 1.26, and I still can't get him. So I have him way higher than he's been, and I still can't get him to come up. So I'm surprised that you're getting him with any sort of real value.
I just cut him a little bit, so now I have him at like 30.
Okay.
But I mean, he's still just been so good without Oladipo this year. And I really like the backup center spot here against Charlotte.
Yeah, I like him in practice. Dude just doesn't play enough.
I mean, so for the season without Oladipo, he's averaged 1.27 DraftKings points per minute.
Okay, that's exactly where I have him right now. I mean, unless we want to quibble over the 100th of a point.
Right. I just gave him 24 minutes and gave him his rates with Oladipo off this year and got him to 32.8 DraftKings.
Okay. Yeah, I get him to 30.9, and he's owned 15%, and I would probably have like a cap when I throw him in fantasy cruncher at like 8. So, I don't know. And he's someone that I never get, and I'm totally cool with it.
Yeah, I don't get him as often, really, as I would like.
I don't even want him. What's the point?
I mean, if anything happens to Miles Turner, he breaks the slate.
Sure.
And more often than not, at 5,700, he gives you a perfectly fine outing anyway.
Yeah, I mean, clearly, I understand what the benefit is. I feel like he's a guy that just gets represented differently in the industry. He just doesn't play enough, but I feel like people think that he plays 28 minutes a game.
I agree with that.
Like, people play him for a reason other than if Miles Turner breaks, this wins.
I feel like he's one of the like prime guys where like there's confirmation bias one time and people just remember it for 2 months.
Yeah.
Where they're like, oh, Sabonis is a good play today for reasons that are wrong. And then Miles Turner gets in foul trouble and Sabonis becomes a great play.
Yeah.
And they're just like, yeah, see, Sabonis every day.
Right. Because without Turner going out, it's really hard for him to be like good. Like really, really good.
Especially here. Like Charlotte's a small team.
Yeah.
I don't anticipate like I give him 24 minutes because I want to get some of that upside. But if I had to like guess at I would assume this is a game where he plays fewer minutes alongside Turner than normal.
That makes sense to me. Anything else from Indiana? Bojan, Wes Matthews on FanDuel.
What's Matthews' price on FanDuel?
42.
Yeah, that's really nice, I think.
Yeah, that's fine. Flatman on Yahoo. Surprise, surprise. That's fine as well.
Sure.
Nothing crazy. Go to Charlotte. Kemba, 10K on FanDuel, 9,200 on DK, 42 on Yahoo. I'm probably good here.
Yeah, that price moved quick. Obviously, like him now that Zeller's back, but
yeah, you got to take some serious. I mean, you got to really juice his projection to get anything sort of valuable at this price tag now in a terrible spot.
Right, exactly. I mean, that's the thing. It's a 9-game slate. His price tag's going up. Sure, he can go out there and score 60 points, but you can say that about a lot of guys, and you don't really have to pay over 9K for them.
Yeah, just not for me. Let's talk about chalky Marvin Williams. 4,500 on DK, 24% expected ownership. Not sure I'm going to get to 24% here.
I'm pretty confident that I won't.
Yeah. I completely agree. Looks fine. I don't have like qualms with having him, but not in a quarter of my lineups.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, the minutes are great. He played a lot of backup center, which is good to see that continue. Total at center last game, you got 26 minutes from Zeller. You got 4.5 from Biyombo. So that means you got basically 18 minutes of Marvin Williams at center, which is really nice considering, especially like on DraftKings, you can roster him at small forward. So yeah, it's not that I have a problem there. It's just that he's not someone that I feel the need to be looking to match the. And again, like I don't manually adjust my stuff. So like if I end up being even with the field or overweight, then I say okay, I guess that's where I should be. But my assumption is that I'm just not going to get there.
Yeah, same. Lamb, Batum, Zeller. Anything here for you?
I love how Lamb just out of nowhere played 36 minutes last game. Like I had a lot. I had twice the field, so it was nice. But like his minutes are just all over the place.
Yeah,
I'm going to project him for 30 minutes. It's obviously nowhere near as appealing a matchup as it was last time against Atlanta. The price tag is still really appealing. He's just the kind of guy that can go out there and obviously give you monster games. So I have him as a decent but not great play. I have Williams as my best point per dollar play on this team.
It's either him or Batum, but it's close. Williams on DK, probably Batum on FanDuel.
Yeah. I'm looking at DK.
Batum 0.8. They've both been at Batum and Williams both at 0.82 FanDuel points per minute over the last 30 days. The resurrection of Nicholas Batum, which is so great for them, just because like if he can even be functional, it just opens the ability to like maybe be able to aggregate his salary in a trade in a year.
Yeah.
All right, let's get out of this. Go to 7:30 games. By games, I mean game. Hit that like button, people. Comment after the video. Potential to win a free month. Look at the scrolling thing underneath our faces for details. The Toronto Raptors hosting the Brooklyn Nets. 118.25 implied total for the Raps. 107.75 for the Nets. So pretty massive favorites here. Pace up spot for Toronto. Really good matchup. Brooklyn's still trying to work guys back into the rotation, so everything is kind of in flux. Should be everybody healthy for Toronto as well. Let's start with Kawhi, who I clearly have overprojected. 9,900 on FanDuel, 9,100 on DK, 42 on Yahoo. Any interest in Kawhi other than the normal?
Yeah, it's the normal. It's obviously a good spot. He is a high floor play. He doesn't really disappoint that much. He's just not a guy that I really ever get to that frequently in tournaments.
Yeah, I'm about with the field right now, which is totally okay with me.
Where's the field at?
8% on DK. I would have somewhere in that neighborhood. Yeah, whatever comes up is fine.
He's played 269 minutes with Lowry since the start of January. He's averaged 1.26 DraftKings points per minute, 28.9% usage, 18% assist percentage.
I don't know what to do with that.
Basically, to put that into context, compared to like the entire season, his usage rate has dropped a little bit and his assist percentage has gone up, and his per minute production is really similar.
Gotcha. Lowry, 8,200 on FanDuel. No. 7,200 on DK.
It's whatever. I hate playing him when Kawhi's in. Like since the start of January, you're at 0.83 points per minute when he plays with Kawhi. For the season, it's even a little bit lower than that. If you look at the rotations in the last game against the Knicks, Kyle Lowry played just about every minute with Kawhi. Looks like he probably played like 3 or 4 minutes without him on the floor. There was a brief period where we were seeing his minutes staggered, and that was pretty appealing. That doesn't appear to be the case anymore. So it's certainly not a priority for me.
Agreed. How many more minutes do you think Marc Gasol plays here?
That's the interesting spot. I mean, he can't keep playing like 18 a game, I wouldn't think.
I just assume they slowly work him in. Like, there's no need to just have Marc Gasol out here for 30 minutes in a throwaway game against Brooklyn.
Right.
Like, find out rotations, find out how everybody plays with each other.
Right. Like, I assume that ultimately it gets to where him and Ibaka are more or less splitting the minutes at center.
Yeah, I think that's probably what I did anyway.
Yeah, like I'll probably go like 26, 22.
That's exactly what I have in here. 26 Gasol.
26 Ibaka.
Ooh, okay. So you think so I have Marc Gasol playing 26 minutes. I think I just gave that away because obviously he's not playing any fucking minutes at the 4.
Right.
Yeah, I went 26 to Gasol and
I go 26
to Ibaka total.
I'll go 26 to whoever starts, but I'm not giving Ibaka any time at the 4.
Okay, see that was my difference. I gave Ibaka 6 minutes at the 4.
I think Nurse just views him entirely as a center.
Maybe.
Like, I'm not sure he's played a minute at the 4 this season.
They also didn't have Marc Gasol.
No, I know, but like Nurse came out and said earlier in the year when it was Ibaka and Valanciunas that like he wants Ibaka at the 5.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I would expect that to happen, Ibaka and Gasol at some point in time, just to find out how those lineups look. Like, Nurse strikes me as the type of guy that would at least want to explore it.
Yeah, but
I don't
like the problem with that.
I would rather be on that opposite side with my stance until we see it.
He's played 13 minutes alongside Valanciunas this year.
Okay, yeah, that's not a ton. I really like the idea. I mean, like, I don't know, maybe like 2 years ago, Ibaka plus Gasol.
Well, and the problem here is that if you're doing that, I mean, Siakam's not on the floor.
Yeah, look, in all actuality, they need to split 96 minutes between those 3 dudes in any game that matters.
Right.
Figure it out elsewhere. And the real problem is that Kawhi should be playing the 4. They're just
they were doing that more before the Gasol trade.
Right.
They'd kicked Monroe from the rotation for the most part. Siakam was playing backup 5. Kawhi was playing more at the 4. You were getting smaller lineups, which I really liked, and I thought they should have been doing it earlier. So yeah, that probably determines whether or not Ibaka gets minutes at the 4 going forward. Is do those backup minutes go to Kawhi or do they go to Ibaka?
Yeah. And I think that the story that will tell that tale most will be when they play important games, and home games here is 11-point favorites against the Nets. Like, I think they're just going to work shit out. It's not going to be like, all right, we need to make sure that we get Kawhi at the 4 today.
Right.
To match up with Rondé Hollis Jefferson. Siakam 6,800 on FanDuel, getting some ownership, 22%, 6,500 on DK, 30 on Yahoo. Not somebody that I would want to like super prioritize, but I get the 68 number on FanDuel.
Yeah, he's projecting as my best play on DraftKings at 65.
I have him in. Well, I always just naturally get a little bit of Lowry, no matter how much I like. I've got him at a point per minute. I feel like I need to bring that lower, but there's something about it that makes me like really have a hard time doing that. I won't have any Gasol. I don't expect to have Ibaka, who's getting 17% ownership on FanDuel and 12 on DK. That seems like a tough sell now.
Yeah, I mean, because he played 30 minutes last game, but again, unless you think Gasol is just playing 18 minutes a night, it's really tough to go to keep it at that number.
Yeah, like it's just it's really hard to see a mechanism for Serge Ibaka getting a ton of extra run, which is what you sort of want. You want you want to roster him and hope that he gets 32 or 33 minutes because of the game breaking a certain way. That's much less likely to happen with Marc Gasol.
Right. And also Ibaka this season's been much, much better without Kawhi on the floor. So if Ibaka starts, which is what you're assuming if you're projecting him for the bulk of the minutes, he's playing less productive minutes. Whereas Pascal Siakam in the same price range and in the same really good matchup is basically Kawhi proof. Like, he just does so much when he's on the floor that he's around a point per minute guy no matter what.
How many minutes do you have Fred VanVleet in for?
Where is he? Like 22.
Okay, I have him in for 26 right now. He doesn't grade out all that well for me. We are projecting 18% ownership on FanDuel. I don't know if we're looking at a tournament where only EMAC is in it.
Right. He played 20 minutes last game.
Yeah, I don't. Pat McCaw starting to get run.
Rotation, yeah.
Yeah, I gave him 26 because I couldn't really cut it much further than that. I did give McCaw 8, but if I wanted to go to 22 and 12 there, I could easily do it.
Right. Like that was the big question when they traded DeLon Wright from, a rotation standpoint was, okay, are we giving more minutes to Van Vliet and Powell? And, obviously Van Vliet being the important one there, does he become, like a legitimate sixth man play, or does Pat McCaw enter the rotation? And it appears we have our answer. So I don't know why people are still playing Van Vliet.
No clue. Ooh, that's too big. 118? Sorry, I'm trying to get everything to fit on my screen perfectly. That'll work. Yeah, I agree. I certainly don't want 18% Fred VanVleet on FanDuel. That's probably it for Toronto. Let's go to the Brooklyn side. D'Angelo Russell is 8,600 on FanDuel, 78 on DK, and 36 on Yahoo. I'll have some still, but it's starting to get a little scary.
Yeah, it's terrifying with this team getting healthy. But he's an example of the guy when we were talking about Kemba, and I said that clearly Kemba has enough upside to pay off his price tag, but that there's other guys that you can get to that have that same kind of upside. Kemba's not in a great spot, Russell's not in a great spot, but like using DraftKings pricing, you're getting a $1,400 discount on Russell, who clearly still has that monster upside. So if you're just looking for ceiling and understanding that you're taking guys in difficult matchups, I would still just rather take the savings on Russell.
I'm with you. Only at 11% ownership, so I'd be comfortable to get over that number, and I don't have to do it with any aggression. 6% on FanDuel, so even easier. I'm not going to be excited about it whatsoever, but it's something to explore. What do you have in for Levert and Crabbe from a minutes perspective?
Like 20, probably going to go like 20 to 22 for Crabbe, and then around 16 to 18 for Levert.
22 for Crabbe, 18 for Levert.
Yeah.
Is Travion Graham the guy that gets pinched? Because now, again, I'm having some trouble figuring out the rest of this rotation. Jared Allen and Ed Davis can throw in the garbage. That one's easy. By the way, $5,100 Jared Allen. Are you in for that?
Yes.
Okay. Me too.
Then again, not with any confidence, but he's $5,100. So if I get there, I get there. I'd rather play DeAndre Jordan.
Okay. I don't know what I would prefer there. It's probably pretty close.
But yeah, as far as the rest of the Nets rotation, like I have no idea. Graham still played 24 minutes last game. Napier is the one that got all of his minutes taken, basically.
He I have him at 12 now.
Yeah, I'm not going to anyone else from this team with any sort of regularity.
No. Joe Harris, 4,400 on DK is the spot.
Right. His minutes are safe, I would think. Right around 30.
Yep.
You can obviously still do the Jared Allen, Ed Davis thing, but you do have Hollis Jefferson stealing some minutes from Davis. Beyond the centers and Harris as secondary options that come with a lot of risk, and beyond Russell as somewhere between primary and secondary option that comes with a lot of risk, there's no real need for me to gamble on these guys.
No, I have Carroll at 25, Rondé Hollis Jefferson at 20, Kurucs at 20, and Travion Graham at 11. Throw those shits into a salad spinner and just pick out whatever you want. I don't know what else to do. Just don't play them.
Yeah, it's basically if 1%
until DeMarre Carroll drops 60 fantasy points or whatever the hell he did a couple days ago.
Right. Yeah. It's he's the one guy from that group that I guess Hollis Jefferson too, but like Hollis Jefferson and Carroll have upside if everything goes their way.
Yeah.
But it's again, unless we're going to just name every fringe play on this slate that has upside if all their shots go in and they play more minutes than normal, then it is what it is.
Moving on. The Chicago Bulls hosting the Milwaukee Bucks. 107.75 for the Bulls, 118.25 for the Bucks. So I ran a crunch this morning for FanDuel before I was putting out the cheat sheets, and I knew that I should have been getting like 70 to 80% Jabari. Not only did he have monster exposure caps because of his price, but he was also part of a group of punt guys that I said, must include one. So I'm like, oh my God, he's not showing up. He's not showing up. I'm sorting it by small forward. I was like, oh, maybe he's a power forward. Not there. Can't see it. I was looking for him to be in the fucking Bucks green color. He's been on 2 teams since then.
I thought you were at least going to say the Bulls.
No. I was looking for green, and it was, red. Couldn't figure it out, but it was red for fucking Wizards. Yeah, I couldn't. It blew my mind. I was like, oh no, he's still I went up to the top of the screen where I knew I would find his name. I was like, okay, he's 80% used. What am I missing here? The color of his name. All right. Well, pace up spot for the Bulls. Yay. However, terrifying defensive matchup. By all accounts, the Bucks should be at full health minus Mirotic.
Yep.
Okay. So Zach LaVine, 7,800 on FanDuel, 6,800 on DraftKings, 28 on Yahoo. I don't know what's happened in like the last week or two. I can't stop getting Zach LaVine as one of my best plays. And I felt like getting Ross for like 2.5 months.
The answer for me is that DraftKings just chopped his price tag and refuses to raise it again.
Yeah, he's one of my best plays of the day. He's at 16% ownership. I'll have more than that at this rate. And I don't like it because, well, they're playing the Bucks, and the Bucks might beat them by 700.
Yeah, and like it's obvious it's not a huge thing, but that trade does give more usage to LaVine. Like Otto Porter does not replicate the usage that Bobby Portis and Jabari Parker take when they're on the floor.
Nah, not so much. Conscious Machine in YouTube chat says you shouldn't judge people by the color of their name. I like that. I like pointing out good shit like that. Yeah, I'm gonna have a monstrous amount of LaVine.
Yeah. 358 minutes in January without either one of Portis or Parker on the floor. 1.08 minutes for LaVine, 29.8% usage rate.
Yeah. Markkanen, 8,300 on FanDuel, 79 on DK. I just have a hard time going to him over LaVine because of LaVine's price.
Yeah, I agree with that. Looking quickly at the Wizards game, we still got a pretty good amount of center from Markkanen. He closed at center again. Yeah. So that's going as we expected it to, which is obviously good. Against the small Milwaukee team, I absolutely assume he closes at center.
Let's talk about that a little bit further, though. How do you think this impacts Lopez and Felicio in this particular game?
The fact that Milwaukee's small?
Yeah.
Probably not too much. I mean, they just played Washington, and Lopez played 18 minutes. Felicio played 12. I think that's very reasonable for this spot, too.
Okay, I went 20 to Lopez, 12 to Felicio, and then I've got Markkanen with the other 16. Does that seem about right?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't know if we were going to have a bigger conversation about like Felicio or like even Lopez not seeing the floor.
I mean, I could see Felicio not seeing the floor if they like throw Robin Lopez a bone and just let him play against Brooke for 30 minutes. But I assume that Lopez and Felicio combined for like 30 minutes.
Okay. That works for me. Chris Dunn, 3,300. Any interest?
3,300, yeah.
33 minutes. I don't know why I'm 7,300, 6,300, and $24. I don't know, man. There are a lot of threes on the Chris Dunn line.
I think Dunn's fine. I have him behind LaVine. I have him behind Markkanen. I even have him behind Porter.
Okay. Yeah, 6,700 for Porter on FanDuel, 57 on DK, 22 on Yahoo, 23% ownership for Porter on DraftKings. I don't want that much.
It's a decent spot for him, but
yeah, I don't like Chalk Porter.
No, it's not ever a good spot to be. He's not gonna be like I like his fit on this team, but I think it's very similar to what it was with the Wizards when John Wall was healthy. You don't need Otto Porter to be out there creating a bunch of stuff. You don't need him to really be doing a whole lot other than playing defense, knocking down shots when Zach LaVine or Chris Dunn pass him the ball. Milwaukee has allowed the highest frequency of 3-point attempts this year. They've been one of the worst teams at defending the 3-point line, despite the fact that they're good defensively overall. So it sets up as a nice spot for Porter. But again, for him to hit his ceiling, he has to shoot well and he has to grab, extra rebounds or steals or stuff like that, because he's just not going to be it's not like he's going to be out there running the offense or, chucking up 25 shots or something like that.
Right. Thanks to whoever just pointed out that my cheat sheet had FanDuel and DraftKings flip-flopped. I have corrected that. I don't know who's calling me, but I'm certainly not answering that. I don't see anybody else as playable from Chicago. Do you?
Levine? No, I mean it's the four guys that we always play.
Okay. And then let's head to Milwaukee. 12K for Giannis on FanDuel, 11.3 on DraftKings, 56 on Yahoo. I don't necessarily mind, as weird as it sounds, I don't mind the 12K price on FanDuel. I kind of understand it. I'm not paying 11.3 for Giannis on DraftKings with everything else that's out there.
Nope, that's where I'm at as well. We talk about it every slate, but for one, Giannis just plays fewer minutes than other guys in his price range. Not even talking about blowout risk or anything like that, but even in competitive games where you're getting 38 to 40 minutes from most guys priced around, in over 11K, you're getting like 34, 35, maybe 36 from Giannis normally. On top of that, you also have secondary contributors on the Bucks who are underpriced, where Giannis is overpriced. You can get Brogdon in a good spot for less than 6K. You can get Bledsoe at 7K, averaging almost 1.3 fantasy points per minute over the last month. So you can get exposure to this really good Milwaukee offense at somewhat of a discount, as opposed to paying a ton for Giannis. It just makes it really tough for me to get a lot of Giannis.
Yeah, I'm not really getting a lot of anything here. Not Bledsoe, not Middleton, not Brogdon, not Brook. These guys are just... I don't know, it's probably a minutes thing, but nobody's been playing big minutes here.
Yeah, I mean, if I give Bledsoe 30 minutes, I think I get a lot of him on DraftKings.
I have him at 28 right now. And, I can get him to 30. It doesn't appear that those guys are playing that many minutes with any sort of regularity. It makes it really hard for me to think, well, today will be the day.
Right. But also, they're just in so many non-competitive games.
Yeah.
What did Bledsoe play? I mean, Giannis was out. Bledsoe played 29 last game, but sat the last, almost 5 minutes of the game.
27, 27, and 27 in the three before that.
Magic are too good.
I have him in for 28 right now. Could I give him 30? Sure.
Yeah, I mean, the game before that, 27 minutes, sat the last 4 minutes of the game in a blowout.
Basically, where I'm at with Milwaukee is I want to set the minutes of Bledsoe, Middleton, and Brogdon so that I get some.
Right. Because
I don't want to prioritize them and get Bledsoe comes up at 40% for me and he's at 5% ownership. I'm still not comfortable in picking between the three either. So I just want to have them set at the rates where I get enough that I'm with the field or slightly above. And that's the best that I can do here because while we don't naturally predict blowouts, the Bucks should blow out the Bulls.
Yeah. I'll probably be pretty overweight on Bledsoe.
Okay. I'll have a little bit of all three of those guys.
I have Bledsoe right now at 38.9 DraftKings points.
Okay. I am a lot lower. I also I think I have him massively under projected now that I'm seeing it. I've got him at 1.22 fantasy points per minute, which is pretty significantly off of his mark over the last 30 days. Give him a little bit of a boost there and see what happens. Yeah, if I give him 2 more minutes, I get the sense that I'll be in the 10 to 12% range of him, and that's fine by me. Let's get out of this slog. Houston Rockets hosting the Dallas Mavericks. 116.25 implied total for the Rockets. 105.75 for the Mavs. Mavs, not the best total there. We'll start on the Houston side. Harden, 13.3 on FanDuel, 12K on DK, 63 on Yahoo. I would just rather have Harden than Giannis.
I just still can't get the Harden at that price on FanDuel. I wouldn't think.
I think I have an easier time getting there on FanDuel than I do on DraftKings.
Really? I never like him as much on FanDuel anyway, just because the scoring doesn't favor him.
True.
Yeah, 12K on DraftKings I still think is really, really reasonable.
Yeah, I don't mind having him at all. Somebody in chat just said this, and I completely agree, though. Chris Paul is the better play. 7,800 on FanDuel, 6,900 on DK, 31 on Yahoo. I love Paul.
Yeah, I think I still have Harden as the better play, but I like Paul.
I have Chris Paul so far ahead of James Harden. It's insane.
I needed to bump Paul's minutes, though, so that might change.
I've got Paul for 34. I only have Harden for 36. Do you have him more than that?
I had him at 38. I'm probably going to go 37.
Okay. Hilarious. Yeah, like I've got Paul doubling him up as of right now. Those numbers will get closer to each other if value opens up, but for right now, getting $6,900 Chris Paul, I can't get enough. He's only at 13% ownership. I've got triple that probably. So I'm gonna end up on a lot of Chris Paul.
Trying to get Harden's numbers since Paul came back 27th. It's not perfect doing it this way, obviously, because Paul missed a game and he played like 25 minutes his first 2 games back. But just to get a quick idea of how it's played out, 1.65 points per minute for Harden, 1.19 for Paul. So both obviously really, really good. You can take a little bit off of Harden there probably. Like he has a 40.6% usage rate. But I think it's more likely you get him in like the 38.5% range, somewhere in there.
Oh, I have him even bigger than that actually.
Really?
Yeah. It's mostly just a function of everybody else. Like there's no one else to take that usage on this team now.
Yeah, I mean, so he was at 46% last game. Prior to that, it was 36.5, 39, 34.5, 37. He was at 41, 40, and 45 in the 2 games that Paul played like 25 minutes.
Okay, who would be above 20 to you on this team? Harden and Paul.
Gordon, Paul, Harden. Okay. Maybe Freed. And Gordon's not by a lot.
Yeah. Let me see if I can walk these guys up a little bit. I might pull Harden down a little bit. It's weird though, because like anything I do to Harden is going to naturally, like, in some form, bump Paul slightly, and I already don't need more.
Right. I will say after adjusting stuff, I do have Paul as a better play than Harden now.
Yeah, I've got Paul hitting a target score 34% of the time. It's fucking massive. I'm going to have more Chris Paul over the field than probably any other play on the slate.
Yeah, I guess he knocks back my Bledsoe a bit too.
Yeah. Especially if Paul's only going to be at 13%. Like, that makes me feel significantly better. I'm digging it. I'll have some Fareed too. 7,400 on FanDuel, 6,800 on DK, 26 on Yahoo. I probably like him more on Yahoo than anything else, but I'm good with Fareed across the board.
Yeah, pretty appealing spot here against a Maxi Kleber and Dwight Powell front court.
Yeah. And then if I get any PJ Tucker or Eric Gordon, I'm cool with it. What are you doing with Shump?
I thought he was going to play. Well, I guess he got 24 last game. I thought he was going to play a little bit more, but I'll probably keep him in that like 24 to 26 minute range.
Yeah, I have him at 24 right now, so I think we're on the same page there. To Dallas we go. Luka, 9,800 on FanDuel, 8,700 on DraftKings, 45 on Yahoo. I've got more than I would have expected. He's at 11% on FanDuel, 19 on DraftKings. I assume that's about where I end up.
Welcome to the club, Josh. About damn time.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, it was looking pretty tasty yesterday. When I looked at it, he was tanking in like the middle of the game.
Yeah, it was funny because you had messaged me and said that Luka was going to kill you when Luka got off to that hot start, but I didn't see it until Luka was doing absolutely nothing in like the second and third quarters, and I had like 85% Luka, so when I read it, I was just even more pissed off. And then he just went out and went like absolutely nuts in the fourth.
Yeah. Yeah, when I looked at it, well, originally, he had like 16 in the first quarter or something, and I was like, oh, this is going to be a fucking bloodbath.
Right.
And then So I mentioned that like I didn't have much Luka in chat, and that I wasn't happy about it. And somebody tagged me in it, and then somebody was like, "Oh, Luka looking good." And I looked back at it, and he had the snowflake, and it was just like, "Oh, this might pay off like big time." And then I went back and looked, and it was just
yesterday. Like I lost money anyway, but it was just like the most stressful sweat to like lose some money as opposed to tons of money between Luka on the early slate just bombing until the fourth quarter, Devin Booker on the main slate being in foul trouble and injured and sucking until the fourth quarter, and then they both ended up being fine. But it was just a really they both made it a really not fun day.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna have some Luka. I'm not gonna go crazy, but that $8,700 tag on DK is pretty damn tasty.
Yeah, he would be a reason why I think it's hard for me to prioritize someone like Bradley Beal at the same price point.
Yep.
Looking at my Luka projection, I can confidently say I will have a ton of him, and that it's terrifying to me how much I'll probably have.
There you go. Everybody on this DraftKings or everybody on this Dallas team is priced better on DK by like a lot.
What do you have Luka projected for on DraftKings?
I'm gonna say a number, and you're gonna be like, I have 800.
Right.
47.3.
Okay, it's not too far. I'm at 52.4.
Okay. That seems about right, considering, you know,
hell yeah.
You're probably 10% higher on everybody than I am. Tim Hardaway, 5,800 on FanDuel, 5K on DK. Probably going to get a little bit more love than I like, but I'll have some.
I really wish DraftKings would raise this price like immediately.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, he's played 3 games now. He has a 26% usage rate, which is in line with what we expected. If you looked at his numbers with the Knicks when he was playing without guys like Enes Kanter primarily on the floor, it's pretty much where he was at with the Knicks before they started just completely tanking and doing dumb shit. And I think he just stopped caring whatsoever. So yeah, I mean, I still think he's a really good play at 5K.
Okay, yeah, I don't disagree. Dwight Powell, 4,800. Is he going to get enough minutes for that to be relevant?
It's tough. I know 2 games ago he split center minutes with Maxey. Last game he closed alongside him, so they both got 26 to 27 minutes. Here against Houston, you would assume that they don't close together, but I also would have assumed that they didn't close together last game. So I don't know. I'll probably give them both like 26 minutes.
Yeah, I have Powell at 24 and Maxey at 28. Comfortable adjusting, but I don't really want either guy.
Right.
A DFS 4,100, I guess.
Yeah, I will probably have less than the 55% I had yesterday.
I hope so.
So do I.
Although there's certainly a way around that where you're like, I accidentally still played 60% DFS.
Right.
The formula was off.
Yep.
Trey Burke. Man, for when I looked at his minutes early, I was like, okay. And then I looked at his fantasy output, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, when he was like the first guy off the bench, because I had a ton of him yesterday, and I hated myself for it, but I couldn't really get around it.
Yep.
He was the first guy off the bench. I was like, okay, cool. Like, he's not on a Dave Fizdale team anymore. We're good. And then he played 16 minutes.
Yeah. So I have him in for 20 today. 5,200 on FanDuel is an avoid. 3,900 on DK. I don't mind using him as a punt in a ton of lineups. He's a pretty tough sell in anything outside of 150.
Yeah, it's really, really similar to Alonzo Trier.
Yes. Yeah, only he doesn't have the ability to be dropped on FanDuel in the good way.
And basically something that we saw last game, which isn't great for Burke, is that Courtney Lee got 9 minutes of actual rotation run in the second half. Justin Jackson again played like 4 minutes.
Yeah.
But if those guys are going, and so Lee basically took the Ryan Broekhoff minutes from the first half. But it just if they're going to play this many bodies, it's going to be tough to trust anyone on a night-to-night basis. The one thing, though, is that you can kind of assume that if Burke plays well, he probably gets more minutes, which is always something I like out of value plays in tournaments. Like, the minutes are there if he's playing well.
Yeah. And we know that they do not have a problem with playing a bunch of guards at the exact same time. So if he's cooking, I think he gets to continue to cook.
Yep. He's kind of the guy where I would rather, and again, I'm playing 150 lineups. I'm not talking about one lineup in this instance, but I would rather project him for enough minutes to get him in some lineups and then just like know that I did that and make sure that I don't just let my formula do whatever it wants and I make sure that I cap him at a reasonable number than to just project him quote unquote accurately and just not have any Trey Burke in the games that he goes nuts.
There you go. I think we're good then. Nobody else in this Mavs team.
What did Jalen end up playing yesterday? I know he got off to a good start. He only finished at 24 minutes. Yeah, I mean, certainly not any sort of priority on Bronson.
No, even if he had 30, I don't like him.
No, I mean he had played I think more than 30 the game before, and then I knew he got off to a good start yesterday, but he didn't really do anything.
Alrighty, 3 games left. We're running long today, but there's just a lot to talk about. Timberwolves hosting the Clippers. 115.75 implied total for the Wolves. 111.25 for the Clips. Really nice spot for Minnesota, I think. We'll start with Towns. 11-2 on FanDuel. 10K on DraftKings. He's 27 and 25% ownership on both sites. I have him significantly higher than that. Surprise, surprise. How much Towns are you cool with?
A lot of it.
Yeah. Me too.
Like if the point guard, like Teague's probable, Rose questionable, if they're back, it isn't good for Towns, but it's still a matchup against a Zubats / Montrezl Harrell front court.
Yeah.
And it's still a 10K price tag.
Yeah, keep a close eye on this one. We need Minnesota news. I don't even know how to talk about it. I have Teague in, I have Rose in. Their minutes are up in the air. Like, it's all just up in the air. It's all terrifying.
Yeah, I have Teague in for like 22. I have Rosen for like 22. I have Cannon playing like 8.
I don't even have Cannon. I have Bayless in, but you can flip-flop those two, and it really doesn't make much of a difference. Neither are playable. I'm gonna have to go back through and look at everybody's rates with some of these guys on, because I have a lot of Wiggins right now at 6,500 on both sites, and that will undoubtedly drop with Teague and Rosen.
Yep.
Do you want Teague or Rose?
Assuming that they're not going out there and playing like 30 minutes, no.
I have Rose in for 28, and if he's 5,400 on FanDuel, I can get talked into that.
Yeah, I don't know. I just if everyone's healthy, I kind of just assume that the minutes they're like flatten out.
Yeah,
especially in their first games back.
Yeah, you would think. Is there anybody that's a priority here outside of Towns?
No.
Okay, agreed. Let's go to the Clippers.
I would still say it's Towns, then Wiggins, and then everything else.
You think it's if Teague and Rose are back, you think Wiggins, or do you just throw him in the garbage?
I mean, he's still my second favorite play on Minnesota.
Okay.
He's just way behind Towns.
Okay. Agreed. Yeah, is Towns your favorite play of the slate?
Definitely up there.
Okay. Clippers. 7,700 for Montrezl Harrell on FanDuel, 6,700 on DK, 24 on Yahoo. Is he questionable?
Not sure.
We have him at 0 ownership on both sites, and that seems implausible. Nope. At least not per Roto World. Yeah, I'm going to have more than 0 at 6,700. I assume you'll have some, right?
Maybe. I mean, I don't have him grading out that well.
Yeah, I didn't want it to come off like I think he's in some smash spot, but if he's at 0, I'd certainly want more than 0. Just by default.
Yeah, I mean, the way I currently have him projected, I would guess that I get like less than 5%.
What do you have him projected for?
31 DraftKings.
Yeah, I have him at 35 in 30 minutes.
I'm at 29 minutes.
Okay. I can't do this today. I might have to take a look at that. I really like Montrez here. What about Lou Will? 6,800 on DK, 7,900 on FanDuel.
I like him more than I like Harrell. I have him at 28 minutes. He gets all the usage in the world, but I think it's just a really crowded rotation now where it's harder to get him over 30 minutes consistently.
Okay. We have Gallo at 17% ownership on DK, $6,000. How do you want to handle Gallo?
I like him quite a bit. Played 29 minutes last game, at least according to Popcorn Machine. They had him at like in his first game back. I think it was Popcorn Machine had him at like 29 minutes, and every other site had him at like 19.
Yeah, so he played 20 in the first one. He played 29 in the most recent game.
Yeah, so I mean, I have him at like 32 here. He has about a 25 high or low.
I just have him at 30.
Yeah, I assumed he gets a couple more minutes.
Maybe that explains the 17% ownership.
Because I mean, if you take health and everything out of it, I assume he starts playing like 36 minutes a game.
I don't know what they're doing. I don't disagree.
Like, I mean, he was playing 34 before the injury.
Yeah.
I think he at least gets back to there.
Or maybe that's why he's hurt.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, without Harris this year, he's got like a 25.5% usage rate. It doesn't do a lot for his peripherals. He already, is kind of the rebounder, playing closer to the basket and everything. But yeah, I think that Harris not being there certainly helps.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think that I'll have much. I'm gonna need to look into it a little bit, but I don't feel the need to get to 17. We got to talk about Zubac. 3,900 on FanDuel, 4K on DK. We've got him at 25% ownership on FanDuel, 13 on DraftKings. I've got him in for 22 minutes. It's just kind of pedestrian, right?
I like him. I have him at 24 minutes. I think I actually bumped Harrell to 30 also, because this is a matchup. We saw them play Harrell and Zubac next to each other for a few minutes against the Celtics, and against this front court, they obviously can do that. So I have them playing, like 6 minutes alongside each other. I like Zubac. I mean, he's just such a good fantasy player. He's still cheap. It's not a bad matchup.
Yeah, I don't mind using him. 25% on FanDuel is craziness to me.
Yeah, I mean, because of the opportunity cost, if nothing else.
Right. I would not be there. But if he's in like the 10 to 15% range on DK, I think that makes sense. Any Bev, Gilgeous-Alexander, JaMychal Green, your Landry Shamet, any of these new guys?
No, I'm pretty good just kind of steering clear of those guys for the most part, because you just have so many interchangeable pieces where I think that, for one, it's going to be a mess on a game-to-game basis, and for two, they're not really the most productive per minute players anyway.
Yeah, I'm with you. Let's get out of this game. 2 games left. The Oklahoma City Thunder hosting the Portland Trailblazers. 119 implied total for the Thunder, highest of the slate. 112.5 for the Blazers. Nice spot here for Oklahoma City. We'll start with Russ. 12-1 on FanDuel, 11-4 on DK, $53 on Yahoo. He feels safe, but I'm probably not going to have the 25% that the public has on FanDuel. He's at 11% on DK. That's probably like the ceiling for me. Or do you like Russ today?
Yeah, I mean, I like him. I like that Billy Donovan's been staggering his minutes with Paul George over the last 10 to 11 games more aggressively than he was for most of the season. For a lot of the season, we were seeing, George get some minutes with the second unit, but not a ton. Other games, we were seeing him play all of his minutes with Westbrook. But now over the last 10 or 11 games or so, we're seeing George play every single minute that Westbrook's not on the floor, and vice versa. So that just makes it, a little bit more appealing for both players. Over that stretch, we've seen Westbrook's usage rate drop a little bit, but he has an assist percentage up near 50%. He's averaged over a fantasy point and a half per minute. Not a bad spot here against Portland. So, I like Westbrook more than I like Giannis.
So do I. Yeah, so do I. At least on DK. If I'm playing in a tournament, for sure. Paul George, 11-6 on FanDuel, 10-3 on DK, 51 on Yahoo. Do you like Paul George more than Russ?
Not more than Russ, but I like him a lot.
I like him more than Russ on DraftKings. On FanDuel at 11-6, I do not.
I have Russ. Hang on a second. I have Russ at 63 DraftKings. I have George at like 56.
Okay. I have less than
So
this.
it makes Russ one of like the best plays for me, and it makes George probably like a top 5 or top 6.
Okay. I think Adams is fine as a value, but he's getting 20% ownership on FanDuel and 14 on DK. Those numbers just feel too high.
I mean, it's still Steven Adams. Like
Right.
the offense, he's not involved in the offense. He loses rebounds to his point guard.
Yep.
If you need if you're like getting a lot of Steven Adams and you don't want to, and you need a reminder of why not to, go back and just read through the game logs from the fourth quarter of their last game. I only noticed it because I had him in a very good lineup, and he played almost the entire fourth. He did not record a stat. Every single time there was a missed shot, I'd be like, oh, cool, maybe I'll get a rebound here, because he had like 6 points and 9 rebounds. And I was just trying to get like a cheap double-double. And it's Russell Westbrook, board, Russell Westbrook, board. And then Paul George, made every shot he took, so that didn't help either. But it's still, just a center that gets putbacks, is not involved in the offense, and loses rebounds to his stat padding point guard.
There you go. Schroeder. Fuck, dropped my phone on my nuts. 27 minutes for Schroeder for me. 5,200 on FanDuel, 4,700 on DK, 18 on Yahoo. I'll have a little bit.
Yeah, I'll have probably very little. I have him at like 26 minutes, and I think that could even be kind of high.
Well, no Jeremy Grant today.
Okay.
Not that has a direct impact to Dennis Schroeder, but it's just
kind of does.
What I mean is, like, he obviously gets more cemented minutes and has the ability to get more, but it's not like there's a 1-to-1 corollary between Schroeder and Grant. Yeah, what I was going to is Patrick Patterson should be getting a couple extra minutes.
Yeah, I don't care about that, but
neither do I.
I'll give Schroeder a couple extra minutes.
Okay, yeah. So I will get a little bit of Schroeder. I got Pat in for 26, and that doesn't even put him on my radar.
Did you have him at 26?
Yeah.
Seems reasonable. Yeah, so I mean, you'll get more Paul George at the 4, which just makes George even better. You'll get more of the wings to what Diallo's gone, but Nader's there. So you'll probably get a few more minutes for Nader. You'll get probably a few more minutes for Ferguson, Schroeder.
Yeah, I have Ferguson for 30, Nader in for 20, Deonte Burton getting 14.
Yeah.
I don't want any of these guys. It doesn't matter.
Right. Agreed.
Okay. We'll go to Portland. Massive pace up spot for the Blazers here. Thunder defense, not fantastic over the last month or so. So Dame, 10-2 on FanDuel, 8,600 on DraftKings, $39 on Yahoo. I'm liking me some Dame.
Yep, another guard that I like more than Beal on DraftKings.
Yep. But he's not the best thing in this game. 8,700 on FanDuel, 7,600 on DK, $30 on Yahoo. How would you like to handle Yusuf Nurkic tonight?
I would like to roster Yusuf Nurkic.
Yeah, I got he is pretty clearly my favorite center play on FanDuel. I think I like him even more than Towns. Just given the prices. He's 8,700. That's why you don't play Zubac, by the way.
Right.
7,600 on DK. I'm going to have many multiples of the public. Public at 8% on DK, 5% on FanDuel for Nurkic.
I have him projected for 32 minutes, 41.3 DraftKings points.
Ooh, okay. So I have him for 32 minutes, 43 DraftKings points. He's been at 1.43 FanDuel points per minute over his last 30 days, and my projection is less than that.
I'm at 1.33 DraftKings over the last month.
Wow. Yeah, either way, whatever I want to adjust that to, I'm still coming in north of 5% on FanDuel or 8 on DraftKings.
Yeah, I would assume I get plenty of him and Dame here.
We are getting roasted in YouTube chat. Horrible matchup. Pass on Nurk.
Why is it a horrible matchup?
I like Collins better. Zach Collins over Nurkic.
The guy that plays behind?
Yeah, clearly.
And
that played 6 minutes 2 games ago.
Yeah.
Which is what I still have him in for. Played 7 and 8 minutes in the 2 previous games to yesterday's debacle. And that's why Josh don't win. And that's why Jason's no longer in this chat.
So that explains Josh, but what about me?
Yeah.
No, I mean Collins was the first. Collins was the backup to Nurkic yesterday. Leonard was the backup to him basically every game before that. They both are useless.
Yeah.
It's not a spot where Nurkic should struggle. Like,
what do you want to do with Collins' minutes?
give him. What did they do yesterday?
I don't know how to figure it out. If you start
Nurkic
from
was
Jake Layman and work your way down, and I don't know what to do.
Hang on a sec. 2, 4. I'm going to give Collins all the backup center minutes because Nurkic was in foul trouble yesterday. Leonard got minutes yesterday only because Collins picked up his 5th foul. I'm going to give Collins 16 minutes.
Okay. So you think that Leonard is done then?
I mean, that's my best guess based on last game. Yesterday, I assumed the opposite.
So did I. All right, I'm going to pull them just so we're talking about the same shit.
I think that Collins should be the backup. So I'm more willing to lean that direction.
All right. Either way, there's absolutely no chance I'm playing Zach Collins. I can't even imagine how you would get there.
Because he had a good game yesterday.
Well, that makes perfect sense. Guys, I booted Jason for 5 seconds and immediately undid it. It was for effect, not for real life. It's not it's not how this works. None of it's real. He's back in the chat. You guys can see it. It was just so you guys can see that it said that he was hidden for 5 seconds. Crazy people. Yeah,
so anyway, Nurkic, so you can argue that like Steven Adams is good or whatever. You could also argue that it's a spot where Nurkic could play even more than 32 minutes because of Adams.
Right.
He played 36 the last time these two teams played. If Nurkic plays 36 minutes, like, holy shit, he's one of the best players on the slate. He played 30 in the first game they played against each other this year. He topped 40 fantasy points in both of them. So, not that I really care about that, but you can't even like make that argument with any sort of even recent like game logs.
Yeah. No, we're on the same page here. If he stays in the single digits, I'm gonna love Nurkic.
And again, like even we can call the minutes and the difficulty of Steven Adams a wash, but also the pace is really good. Nurkic rebounds well, he passes well, he scores well. So like extra possessions can really benefit him. It's just again, using individual matchups to make decisions just doesn't really get you in a good spot normally.
Here's one for everybody. Everyone is treating Yusuf Nurkic like he's not incredible. 1.43 fantasy FanDuel points per minute over his last 30. That's 0.03 of a point less than Paul George. It's more than any other player on his team. People need to realize how good Yusuf Nurkic is. Like, if people would not be like, oh, you can't play Paul George there. Paul George in this spot right now should be projected similarly to Yusuf Nurkic. He's 10-3 instead of 7,600.
Okay, I'm not with you on that one, but
there's over the last 30 days, they're separated by 0.03 of a point on FanDuel per minute.
On DraftKings, I have them by 0.2 by like I have George at like 1.53 and Nurkic at 1.33.
And I don't have yesterday's stats in. I know this is not going to change it all that much, but that's weird that I would have expected Nurkic to be even better for you on DK.
I have George at 55.8. I have Nurkic at like 42 or whatever.
Either way, let's just say it's close. It's not as if Nurkic is this 1.1 dude.
Right.
He is. Where has he been over the last 30 days? Because it's got to be pretty close to the top. Let's value filter this by minutes. Let's say greater than 200. Where's Nurk? Nurkic is 14th in the league over the last 30 days in his per minute rates.
Yeah, he's been insanely good all year. It's not like we're just like choosing the last month either.
Right. Ahead of Luka Doncic on FanDuel. Ahead of Vooch, ahead of Lillard, ahead of Curry, Durant, Kawhi. People are sleeping on how good Yusuf Nurkic is, which is fine by me. I hope that keeps his ownership down.
You can also go into fantasy, and again, it's not something that I really care about. But if you're someone that's arguing like for individual defensive matchups, you probably care. And look at prior games even before the season against Oklahoma City. I don't have it pulled up which games Steven Adams did or did not play, but he's had tons of success against Oklahoma City.
Just assume Adams played. I mean, this
Right.
dude does not exactly miss time.
Right, exactly. Yeah, Nurkic, even going back to 2016, when Nurkic was a lot more inconsistent than he is now, he's had plenty of success against them.
47, 40, 42, 47, 55. Yeah. Some of those were in a lot less minutes than what you would expect him to be able to get here. I'm in. Why are we worried about his foul trouble?
What?
I don't know. He's had 5 fouls once against Oklahoma City, if you guys want to look at stuff like that. He's been a fantastic value every time. Throw that matchup shit in the trash. I love Nurk. Why is the problem Nurkic's minutes? Like, the dude's still playing 30 minutes a game. This isn't a year and a half ago Nurkic, where sometimes he plays 22.
Right. I mean, we've been talking about that all season long. Stotts has left Nurkic's minutes alone. When he gets less than 30 minutes, it's because he was in foul trouble or the game blew out. And then against some really traditional centers like Steven Adams, we've even seen him get up to 36 minutes sometimes. Yeah. But the baseline for him always is like 30 to 32.
Telling you guys, don't sleep on it. He's been really, really, really good.
This was like it's like people just don't pay attention to shit. Like, this was one of the most profitable spots on DraftKings for like a full month in, I guess, like December.
Yeah.
He kept being like 6,600, and people kept being like, oh, he only played 24 minutes last game, and ignoring that he had 5 fouls or that the Blazers won by 30 and not playing him. And then he would go score 45 points, and then you would rinse and repeat and do it again 2 days later. Then his price tag jumped up to where it got tough because there are so many good centers on every single slate, but now it's falling back down, and it's like, oh yeah, but Nurkic only plays 24 minutes.
Yeah. I couldn't be more in.
Like yesterday, he fouled out in 21 minutes. It's not like he just didn't play.
Yeah. Somebody just said, he's in 9 of his last 15 games, he's been under 30 minutes. This is they stomped Phoenix. They stomped the Pelicans. They stomped Cleveland. Like, these are just, they're not.
He's fouled out of 3 of those games. He had 5 fouls. Well, he played 33 minutes in that game anyway. Yeah. But, he fouled out in 32 minutes against Utah. He fouled out in 26 against the Pels. He fouled out in 21 yesterday. Yeah. Like, it's not Terry Stotts being like, hey, let's get Zach Collins some minutes here.
Yeah, the plan is for him to be out there for 32 minutes at least. And probably every single minute Steven Adams is out there.
Like, looking at his recent games, I actually probably have him under projected at 32.
Yeah.
Like, 34 is probably like a better estimate of where Terry Stotts would like to have him playing in these games.
Yeah, and especially in a scenario where they're underdogs. They are much less likely to blow out the Thunder and give him less minutes. I love it. Get all the Nurkic or fade him. We'll talk about it tomorrow. But I love it.
I love that I ended up pushing super hard for Nurkic by the end of that, even though at the beginning I was so much lower than you.
Well, that's exactly how this should work. Get on my level, man. I don't care about CJ. Do you?
Nope.
Do you want any other part of the rest of these goons? Is it Jake Layman? Is it Aminu? Is it noted defensive stopper Rodney Hood?
You would think Aminu has to play more minutes here, right?
No.
So you said they weren't using him to defend Luka yesterday.
Right.
Okay, so he's defending Paul George today.
Why?
Well, for one, George is playing a ton of time at the 4.
Look, I don't disagree. I think that he should play more minutes. Apparently, he's not. Like, I don't know how to hash it out now. 4 of his last 5 games, he's played 22 minutes or less. In the one game that he played 31, Dame didn't play. He still only played 22 minutes in a game that Nurkic missed. Now Rodney Hood is here. I don't know.
He played 31 against OKC last time.
Yeah. Do I think that Al-Farouq Aminu should play 30 minutes here because Paul George is on the other side? Fucking absolutely. I don't know how I could confidently say that he will. Who else is going to guard George? Layman? Apparently Rodney Hood.
I'm giving Aminu 28.
I gave him 24. I gave Layman 26. I gave Rodney Hood 24. I gave Harkless 20. I now gave Myers Leonard 0. I don't know. I don't know what to do with these dudes. It's
like
it makes no sense.
Jake Layman should never be closing this game over Al-Farouq Aminu.
And he is playing monster minutes in the last 5 games.
And I mean, I like Jake Layman like as a scorer, but
yeah,
he should not be closing this game over Aminu.
Yeah, and Rodney Hood shouldn't be playing half of his possessions guarding Luka Doncic in a close game. Which I think is the piece of this that is probably most important. If I were coaching this team, Al-Farouq Aminu plays quite a few more minutes trying to deal with Paul George. And the reason that this matters is that the minutes that happen, like, if you can conceivably get Jake Layman more minutes or get Aminu to like 30, he's 4,400 now. He's not 6,200 like he was 3 weeks ago. I want to play Aminu if I think he plays 30 minutes. His fucking team, man.
In the game against San Antonio, did Aldridge play center or power forward?
Yeah, that's something I've got queued up in my head.
I got it. I'm trying to put a case together for why Aminu plays 4 minutes. All right, so 22 minutes yesterday against Dallas. Let's call Luka a guard and just say that that's how Terry Stotts used it, and that's why we were getting Harkless and Hood. Okay. There's no like ball dominant 4 or wing on Dallas. There's no, you're talking about like Davis Bertans at the 4 against the Spurs where he played 22 minutes.
Sure.
Talking about Kelly Olynyk and James Johnson on Miami where he played 17 minutes. You're talking about Jay Crowder and Derek Favors on Utah where he played 22 minutes. We'll throw out the Atlanta game because Lillard was out. You're talking about what? Either, I guess back at this point, it was probably like Josh Jackson on Phoenix. He played 16 minutes, 31 minutes against Paul George, 25 against Utah, 32 against the Pels. I don't know. Like it's so hard to tell because it's just like this whole stretch of just shitty games, but there really hasn't been a spot with a Paul George.
Until yesterday.
Kind of.
Is Al-Farouq Aminu the best defender on Portland to cover Luka Doncic?
Yes.
Okay. So then it's not kind of.
But you can at least see how Terry Stotts would view it differently.
No, I can't. Not if the answer is Rodney Hood. If you told me that Mo Harkless played 28 minutes and guarded him most of the time, I'd be like, okay, whatever.
Right.
But if Hood is the answer, I can't get there.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I think that Al-Farouq Aminu should play more minutes today. I'm not confident that I can do that. I'll have some Aminu tonight on the off chance that breaks correctly. How many DFS shows do you think will spend this much time on how many minutes Al-Farouq Aminu plays today?
None.
Well, 2. The deeper dive will do it.
Yeah. I mean, In all seriousness, though, like the only reason I care is, and you said it, is because he's 4,400.
Yeah.
Like those are the kind of spots where you can just really quickly get an edge on the field if you can find a value play that's been playing fewer minutes for reasons that are different in a particular game. Marvin Bagley was an example yesterday. He played 20 minutes in the first game with Harrison Barnes, and I think people just immediately assumed that his role had changed, but he had 3 first half fouls. He wasn't going to play 20 minutes like regularly.
Here
and
we
he was
go.
like,
Go ahead, sorry. I didn't want to cut you off, but we have an example here. Marvin Williams is $4,500 on DraftKings today, $100 more expensive than Aminu. He's at 24% ownership. Joe Harris is at $4,400, the same price. He's at 11% ownership. You can trim those dudes if you like them and just give 4 to 5% on Aminu if he's not going to get played because of these minutes, and get there before Aminu starts playing 30 minutes again if he plays 30 minutes again.
Right.
Like, I don't need 24% Marvin Williams in my life if Aminu is going to go unowned in a spot where we think he could get more time because of Paul George.
Yeah, exactly. It's not, oh, I think he's going to play more here. Let me put him in half my lineups.
Yeah.
But
there's just natural pivots in that range that you don't need to play 12% Dorian Finney-Smith. Or whoever. All right, let's close this out. We're at an hour and 56. This is old school show.
Yeah.
We still got Thrive props to check out. Hit that like button. Don't forget to comment after the video. You can get yourself a chance to win a premium all access annual subscription for our 1-year anniversary. Nuggets and Heat. 111 implied total for the Nuggets, 101 for the Miami Heat. We'll start on the Denver side. Nikola Jokic, 11-4 on FanDuel, 10-4 on DraftKings, $51 on Yahoo. I'm more than okay having some Jokic, and I think he looks really nice on FanDuel. A lot of good centers out there, which really makes me wonder how anybody can get to Zubac.
Yeah, I have Jokic right now behind Towns, but I still, like him a lot.
Let's see where I have him. I do too. I just don't know how aggressively I do.
That's assuming that is Millsap confirmed out already?
No, but he is like highly questionable. I don't have him in. That's how little I think he's going to play.
If Millsap's out, then I like Jokic a little bit more because I think it gives him a couple more minutes.
Okay. I wish they were slightly more comparable, but would you rather have Jokic or Nurkic?
Factoring in the price, probably Nurkic.
Okay, same. Yeah, but no reason not to go to Jokic here. Yeah, there's some wording on Millsap that makes it sound like it's the reason that I left him out. What was the quote here?
I just adjusted Jokic's rates. Jokic.
Millsap was very limited at Sunday's practice.
Okay. So yeah, probably doesn't. I like Jokic more than Towns now that I changed that stuff if Millsap's out.
I assume that Millsap doesn't play again until after the All-Star break.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem like there's a point. I assume they play one more time, at which point just, ice him for 2 weeks and come back healthy.
Right.
Jamal Murray, 6,900 on FanDuel, 6,300 on DK, 24 on Yahoo. I think we're going to have a lot of Jamal Murray today.
Yeah, it seems reasonable. 36 minutes last game was good to see.
Yeah, I put him in for 34 today.
Yeah, that's what I was going to do.
Mason Plumlee, I've got him in for 30 minutes, 5,900 on FanDuel, 5,800 on DK. He's not just like automatically jammed in, but you're going to want some.
Yep. 36 minutes from him, certainly worth pointing out last game too.
Yeah.
I'm going to go like 32 probably.
Yeah, I could certainly increase that at the peril of Juancho. Do you want any part of Will Barton or Beasley? I think that's probably everything here.
God, they played huge minutes with their starters.
Yeah. Dude, Beasley's projected for 26% ownership on FanDuel.
Is he still 4,700?
46.
I mean,
yeah, I understand it. I mean, I don't want 26, but I get why you'd be chalky.
Yeah, I think he's fine on DraftKings too at a price tag that's not moving.
Yep. I agree. Let's go to Miami. 8,500 for Whiteside on FanDuel, 7,300 on DK, 30 on Yahoo. this is not the spot that I want a lot of Hassan Whiteside.
How come?
I like other guys more in that general area.
Okay, I didn't know if it was a Whiteside thing or a Slate thing.
No, it's just you got to project him to get those 30 minutes today. I mean, the Heat have a 101 implied total. It's dead last on the entire slate. It's not a particularly appealing fantasy matchup just across the board. In theory, he might get additional run because of the way that Denver plays with two bigs, but I mean, today just doesn't feel like that day.
Yeah, I think I'm there with you. Like if I project him for 30 minutes, I get him, like 40 DraftKings points. I get him as a good play, but I get him as a not as good play as Nurkic or Towns or Jokic, even factoring in price.
Right. Yeah, it's going to be a tough sell for me. I'd have a much easier time just playing Bam Adebayo at 3,800.
Yeah,
that's just easier. Waiters, 15% expected ownership on FanDuel, 20% on DraftKings, 44 and 4,100 respectively. Played monster minutes the last game. I've got him in for 30 right now. I don't know how else to project him much higher. How do you want to manage Waiters here?
I mean, if I remember right, he played like 32 the game before that. I'm probably going to give him like 32 here.
Yeah,
like
I'm going to go a little higher.
Yeah, I'll probably give him 32, 33. At 4,100, I still like him.
So do I. 20% ownership. I don't disagree with it either.
Yeah. I mean, the whole thing with Waiters is his minutes, and if those are seemingly finally there, it's not like Waiters can't be a productive fantasy player.
Right. I don't know. After that, I'm good. If whatever comes up for the Heat is fine, but they are an impossible team to prioritize. They're better now, but
yeah, I mean, like Richardson, Winslow, there's certainly some value at their prices in terms of upside, but they're not huge priorities for me.
And it's a terrible spot.
Yeah.
Heading to Denver, lowest implied total. I can't get to it.
Denver's been just bad though, like defensively.
And yet they're 10-point favorites. And
yeah, I mean,
the Heat are projected to score the least amount of points on the slate.
It is like the worst spot for a road back-to-back, obviously.
Yeah, I can't. I just don't want it.
Even with Waiters, I mean, you're rostering scoring-dependent guys coming off of 41-minute games is
heading to altitude.
Yeah, isn't great.
No, I'm just gonna not be here. I think it's easier that way. You want to thrive?
Yeah.
Alrighty. You guys know the drill at this point. It's bit.ly/Osimo. $10 on your first $10 deposit, 20 on 100, and 50 on 200. And take a look at some props. So, first one up once this loads is not quite yet. Let's refresh this table. There we go. Ooh, okay. I can run with this. Andre Drummond, points. I feel like we don't talk about Drummond all that often. 95 for the over. 16.5 points. I have a massive amount more than that.
I have him at 19.2.
I have him at 19.1. So you got me by a tenth of a point. So we're taking the over there probably. And it'll be pretty close to being part of our 10, if I had to guess.
That's another Whiteside that I totally forgot about.
Yep. Okay. DeAndre Jordan, 23.5 points plus rebounds. And you get 105 points for the over.
If I give him 29 minutes right now, I have him at 22.7.
Yeah, I have him at 22.9, so that's going to be a stay away.
Yeah. If I had to pick it, I would take the over because of the points.
All right, you get 95 points for the over here. It's just for points. The total is 22.5. Karl Anthony Towns.
It's gonna really easily be the over for me.
Yep, I have him at 27.5.
Yeah, same here.
Let's take that over. Do you see any that you want to take a look at?
Luka, 11.5 total rebounds plus assists, 110 points for the under.
Rebounds plus assists. Luka Doncic.
I have 17.1.
Wait, what's the number? 11.5?
11.5.
Okay, I have 13.6. So that would be a stay away for me.
Yeah, it's smashing the over for me.
Shocked. Markkanen?
Yeah.
26.5 points plus rebounds, even action on both sides.
Points plus rebounds. I've met 21 and 10, so over for me.
Yeah, the number is 26.5. I get to 32.5. So give me the over on Lauri Markkanen. Alrighty, everybody. Day one in the books of this pre-All-Star week. We will have the deep dive coming out from Lofty in the afternoon. Deeper dive starting at 4:45 today, since it's a pretty big slate. And then live before lock, myself and Fast Eddie Fear, taking you all the way up until 7 o'clock. The big night of DFS. Keep an eye on everything. What else? Hit the like button and comment right as soon as this video ends so that you have an opportunity to win a premium all access annual subscription for our 1-year anniversary. I think that's probably it. That's everything for Monday. Check out all of our PGA content, NASCAR content. We've got a lot of stuff going on as we work our way up to the All-Star break, and then a little bit of a break for us starting Friday morning, which I am not upset about.
No, not at all. I will be spending part of it in Miami, and I cannot wait.
Yes, I will be spending part of it in Charleston, South Carolina. So
there you
go. Can't wait whatsoever. Thank you for joining us, everybody. Went old school, 2 hours and 7 minutes. You cannot beat that. Best of luck. We'll talk to you again. Well, later, let's just say.